Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. This is my first live broadcast concerning comic book talk. The purpose of this talk on a monthly basis is to uh, simply just cover the events and the activities and what are the new trends that are coming in with respect to the geek community in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, and the region at large. And if there is something side which we need to talk about, then that too will be discussed here. Uh, I think we're live back again. I'm sorry, my internet connection is going a bit crazy at this moment. Talk about timing. Anyhow, I wanted to start out with the comic cons that have happened in the GCC in the last since last year. There needs to be a lot of improvement, but the good thing is that the way they have started it out, it's a very good way of addressing the needs and the demands of the local geek community, the artists, the designers, the writers, and so forth. Still far away from a complete success. Nevertheless, something's better than nothing. Uh, Sorry again. As I've said, that the internet is going crazy tonight. So what has happened is that the celebrities that are being invited to comic cons, whether in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, or UAE or Bahrain for that matter, the main focus is on the TV celebrities or the movie stars who have some kind of a relevance with the superhero genre in one way or another. Now, in this respect, what happens is that the creators, the people who have actually created the superheroes, who have done a great deal of work, who have delivered one masterpiece after another in the comic books world, they are simply not getting the due attention that they deserve. And keeping in mind that there is a sizable community in the entire GCC region that is really following these creators, their work. They still read the classic work. They still admire their artworks. It has a strong following, and the geeks community within Saudi Arabia or within the GCC is a niche or a niche segment. Forgive me for my bad pronunciation, but it's significant because they have the desire to spend money for their passion. Things like these are not some things that they're like commodities. If you really have the passion for it, you go for it. I would not have been a comic book collector if I didn't have the passion for it. I've been collecting comic books, I've been collecting graphic novels, I've been collecting action figures since 1985. And to this day, no matter what happened in my life, whether I went high or when I went through hard times, I just couldn't give up my passion for that. So this doesn't apply exclusively to me. This is the norm within the geek culture anywhere around the world. It's not just here, but anywhere around the world. So uh, we need to see, like, this year the Dubai Comic Con or MEFCC, Dubai Comic Con, they invited legendary comic book creators. Number one, Bob Layton, the legend who has been responsible for the best stories for Iron Man since the late 70s all the way to the late 80s or early 90s. He is an artist, and he, along with David Michelini, one of the biggest names in comic book writing community, they have uh, done a monumental work for Iron Man. If you are a fan of Iron Man 1, if you're a fan of Iron Man 2, you have to thank these two guys straight away, because they are inspired by their work, the stories that they've done. I also forgot to mention that Dennis O'Neill as well. But right now the topic, I want to stick with Bob Layton. So Bob Layton is the guy who has drawn Armor Wars, who has drawn Demon in a Bottle, and countless other stories for Iron Man. Now, it's a really good thing that Dubai Comic Con has invited him as a celebrity guest, and then along with him is coming Adam Kubert. Now, for those who don't know, Adam comes from a family of comic book illustrators. Adam's work is uh, is highly appreciated for the things he has done for Wolverine. He joined hands with Larry Hama in the early 90s, and since then, he has done some really important issues for the character itself. If Wolverine, there are many artists who have drawn Wolverine, and they have a cult following, like Frank Miller, like Mark Texeira. But my personal favorite is Adam Kubert, and he had the longest stint. And he did some of the most important issues, like Wolverine number 75, which was a X-Men 30th anniversary crossover issue. Wolverine number 90, in which Wolverine and Sabretooth face off against one another, and beautifully illustrated by Adam Kubert. And then, last but certainly not the least, Wolverine number 100, the 100th anniversary issue, in which Wolverine goes up against Cable's son. Yes, that's right, Cable, whom you're going to be seeing in Deadpool 2. His son's name was Tyler, and Tyler was basically radicalized by Apocalypse. He was one of Apocalypse horsemen, and their objective was to make Wolverine one of the horsemen of Apocalypse. So Adam Kubert, Bob Layton, both of these guys are coming. And then, not to mention that Middle East Film and Comic Con has invited Ezra Miller, actor from Justice League, who is Flash. And I mean, this is what the geeks are looking for. Even if you're inviting celebrities, you need to make sure that they need to have a strong amount of relevance within this with the superhero genre. Wagner Morrow and Ian Smolder, they have done some work for the superhero genre, but Saudi Comic Con could have done a much better job, because compared to their celebrity list from last year, this year was good, very good, and especially for those who follow these stars on TV series and so forth, it was awesome. But the geek community was left out in this respect. Kuwait Comic Con, I really feel sorry for these guys, because they were trying to do something monumental. They wanted to host Stan Lee, but fortunately Stan Lee is 95. Unfortunately, his health is now declining, and it's quite impossible for him now at his age to be traveling from the Middle East to sorry, from the US all the way to the Middle East. But if they had done that, they would have uh, I don't know. I mean, I don't even have the words to describe that achievement. So, Bahrain Comic Con was a total, in my opinion, was a total disappointment, because, I mean, if your star celebrity happens to be a WWE wrestler. Okay, fine, WWE is popular, but guys, you're hosting a Comic Con. Okay, this is not a wrestling con. This is not a bodybuilding con, or this is not an entertainment con, whatever have you. None of your other guests were high profile, and I mean, the atmosphere in Bahrain uh, is like Kuwait and is like Dubai. It's quite more open, and it's quite surprising that they didn't avail that opportunity. Yes, budgeting might be the constraint, but guys, if you're trying to do a Comic Con, then either do it properly or don't do it. So that is the case. But anyhow, last week's Comic Con, which is Saudi Comic Con that I attended personally, I was quite delighted to see the local geek scene, because I came across geeks from Jeddah, and their presence, their offerings, their interest level shows that Jeddah and Saudi Arabia has a significant following for the the comic books related celebrities, the work that they have done. I came across a vendor. He says that he's about to open a store in Jeddah in Hayar Rauda in May, and this guy was selling graphic novels, timeless classics, the new ones, the old ones, in hardcover and paperback, Marvel, DC, Image, Valiant, Dark Horse, Indie, you name it. And people came to his booth, and people were, I mean, everyone was buying like at least 200, 300, 500 reals worth of stuff. And he even had the hardcover omnibus collection for those who are into X-Men. He was selling X-Men Chris Claremont omnibus collection. Talk about that, guys. And the local geeks, their interest and their desire and their passion and the way they want to do stuff with respect to the superhero genre, with respect to the comic books, is something that companies need to take lesson from. I mean, it's not an ideal situation to find a bookstore like Virgin, and they are having a very restricted, limited collection. Very few classics that they are selling. What I came across was the Roger Stern omnibus for Spider-Man, which was one of the good things that I saw there. But for a in multinational company like Virgin, and whose brand values talk about people's passion, I think they need to up their game. But anyhow, the local geek community made me happy. I'm really delighted, especially from the guys and gals whom I came across in the artist alley, the guys and gals who were selling cosplay stuff. I mean, cosplay in itself is like the least, it is the elephant in the room. Nobody is talking about it. You see the way uh, boys and girls dress themselves up just like their favorite character. One of the cosplayers, they tried to recreate a scene from the upcoming Infinity War movie where Thanos is actually punching Captain America with his uh, Infinity Gauntlet. This is like I've been collecting comic books. I mean, I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah especially. I've lived all my life, and this is something unbelievable for me because back in the 80s and 90s, it was really difficult for you to find somebody who would be interested in these sort of things. And not to mention how difficult it was to get one comic book from a local store. Tehama bookstores used to do it, and then there was this distribution company called Al Khazindar. They used to distribute comic books to the newspapers and the magazine stands that were in Sarawat, in International Market, or in Star Market and stuff like that. So now I feel very hopeful, and the potential is quite promising. I hope that the companies capitalize on that. I hope that local Jeddawi geeks, especially, and the Saudi geeks in particular, they see success in their ventures because they certainly deserve it. They have the interest, they have the passion, and they need to be consistent. And they need, obviously, for a guy like me, and who's talking about these things, who is a vlogger, who is a blogger on these issues. Uh, just like I need consistent improvement, everybody needs it. So that is the case. I look forward to doing the next live broadcast next month. And if you have any questions and answers, feel free to mention them in the comment, and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much, guys, and hope to see you next month. Take care.